How's it going, guys? It's Frank here, and I got a new version of Takistan Insurgency. Now, it's basically a version that uses scripts and no additional add-on dependencies aside from A3 and P. So, what that means is this version of Takistan Insurgency is just using scripts to create the insurgency rather than using ALiVE. And I'm also currently testing without aggressors, so although you're going to see op4 enemies and Alta civilians, I will be releasing this with a version with aggressors, and also will be considering releasing a version that uses the Massey whatever, and maybe, or the DR, what the fuck is it called? There's a bunch of like insurgent mod packs that people keep asking me to use with Russian guns and shit like that. And with EOS, the new, well, it's not really a new script, but for me, it's a script that I'm just starting to use, and I'm going to try to implement all the versions for everybody to make everybody fucking happy, because that's why I'm doing this in the first place. Not just to make myself happy, but, you know, it's cool to please other people. So, anyway, this is the map. All these red grid squares represent hostile areas, or potentially hostile areas. Usually the bigger they are, the more guys that are going to be there. That's kind of how I have it set up right now. Not all of them are like that. Some of them, like what's it called? Grid squares like this might have only a small amount of guys, but can also have more than a small amount of guys, if you know what I mean. So, and I also made it somewhat dynamic in a sense, where there's slight random chances, like there's like a 75% chance that there could be a guy or a patrol or something like that, or 30% chance for armored vehicles. For each armored vehicle, light vehicles, 30% chance or 25% chance, one of those. There's no helicopters because they don't do anything. I've tested the helicopters a lot with my group, and they don't report your position or transport people. They just, unless it's a attack helicopter, obviously, then they'll do that, but having transport or recon helicopters flying around is useless. So, and sometimes I've noticed that they don't get despawned, so no helicopters. Just for now, it's armor. You know, in the vanilla version anyway, there's armor, light vehicles, and infantry, and motorized infantry. None of these red grid squares represent where you could find intel. You could still find intel and caches and destroy them, you know, destroy the caches, but they are no longer marked on the map. They'll still basically be in the exact same spots, like the same general areas anyway, that they were in the ALiVE version, but the marker is no longer there. So now it's something you might stumble upon with your group when you're clearing towns, rather than you going directly to where the intel is. So I thought that was actually a big improvement. What else? Let's see. Let's look at the list. I added a airdrop script, basically, so that people can parajump, because a lot of people that were close testing it were kind of, not saying that it was annoying that they would be their team would be clearing out this area and then they die and they respawn all the way back here. And the only way to get back there was to get a helicopter ride up there. But it was just, it would be more convenient and for the sake of fun, and also if you want to do a parajump with your team or whatever as a group, now it's much more doable than it was previously with just the Iggy load thing. You just jump out of a helicopter or C-17 or whatever. But yeah, I also moved the spawn position, which I'll show you right now. Performance might be a little slow, just because of initialization. Although, I will say that initialization is the script version, and this is a pro for using a script version, is that EOS seems to initialize 10 times faster than ALiVE did. I don't know if that's, I mean, I haven't done, I haven't looked at the facts yet, Haven't really looked too deep into it, but all these grids turn red, all simultaneously red at the exact same time, as do the IED markers. The IED markers still, you can still see them kind of for a brief second, but you know, whatever. They all disappear at the same exact time, so I'm assuming that means that it just gets initialized instantly. Whereas if you have the debug on for ALiVE, you can see that it takes forever for all the modules to sync up and shit and be initialized. Basically, if you turn on the debugs stuff for ALiVE, you'll see that all the houses getting the little green dots, meaning that that's where CQB guys are gonna be spawned. And you see like big area markers where strategic points are. It's crazy. And with ALiVE, initialization can take up to 20 minutes. So yeah, instantaneous initialization, or at least we'll say at the most this will take 10 minutes. At the fucking very most on a shitty server, this should take about 10 minutes to initialize. So there you have it. So that is a big pro. What else? Performance seems decent right now. I mean, I'm recording, so it's hard to judge. When I'm not recording, it seems slightly better, but I'm not completely impressed. I think it's just because there's a lot more civilians now. Dogs fighting outside my house. One thing that I will note is that another pro for using the script version is that stuttering seems a lot better than it was. I don't know why. I think it's because the CQB module would spawn guys and have a, you know, it's trying to register that every single building has a 20% chance, or I believe there's a 10% chance that each individual house has a 10% chance to actually spawn a guy or more in that building. And so when you're flying across the map, it's spawning and despawning all those guys or whatever. Or if you're just driving really fast down the road, you know, stuff like that. And it's also doing that for civilians and yeah, you get what I mean. This is very early thing. I basically rebuilt the whole. I copy and pasted the Takistan Insurgency setup, kind of, but I made some slight adjustments. I got rid of all the ALiVE shit and have to replace a lot of stuff. I don't have a. There's a lot of scripts I still have to add. I think I already said that, but I think I have to add a garbage cleanup script, a view distance script possibly, although I don't know, and I might not do the view distance one. But I'll get into that later. Logistics, garbage cleanup, vehicle repair, refuel, and rearm. I'm still not sure if I even want to add that. I need to like input on what is actually necessary, because the more scripts I add, the worse the performance can potentially get. I'm not saying that the performance will actually get bad, but I'd like to take every, you know, if I'm going to add anything, it should be mandatory stuff that's getting added. Not stuff that just makes it look cool. So for the time being, I'm not going to be working on making the base look really spiffy and cool and immersive or atmospheric of a military base, as much as I want to. The performance of the mission would take a hit, or even the server. So as you can see on the bottom right corner, we're in the proximity of Loy Manara, which is a small village just outside the main base. And I'll tell you the population. We should be entering another village, Tamerkale, and it'll say in the bottom right, Tamerkale, and then below that, population 11 or whatever. The population count basically states how many civilians live there. And you'll see it will actually spawn parked vehicles, driving vehicles, civilians walking around, running around, whatever. They don't do anything as lively or dynamic. Not dynamic. I guess more as they're not as complex or sophisticated as the ALiVE civilians. In ALiVE, the civilians will actually start up fires and turn lights on in houses and listen to radios and conspire against players sometimes if they don't like them, fucking suicide bomb or pull out a gun. I've never seen that happen, that last part, but according to the ALiVE developers, it is possible. Just a very rare, random chance, even on extreme mode. So anyway, I'm trying to demonstrate, seeing that if you look in the bottom right corner, Timurkale, population 24. So that means there's going to be 24 civilians in this town here. Trying to look around for any civilian activity, like a parked car or something, but I think I'm out of range. I also don't want to get shot down. I didn't add a script that makes me immune or set as captive. And the volume is intentionally low. That way I could talk over the helicopter. Only reason why I'm flying a helicopter is because I have the debug window disabled. I think I also have like pre-file compile or whatever the hell it's called also disabled for security measure purposes. I think I said that already. I have terrible memory. Maybe go to another town. And also, if it seems like there's not a lot of enemies or civilians, I'm still tweaking this a lot. It's pretty much one of my, not my first test, but it's probably my third test. Quick test anyway. Haven't actually played the script version yet. There's a OP4 vehicle. It's probably loaded up with troops too. It's a medical truck. Just want to look at him. Alright. I'm not sure if I'm impressed with the performance. Yeah, that's weird. See how I just spawned all the civilians like that? I don't know why that is. I don't like how the civilians are always running around though, that's another thing. They don't do it as much with the ALiVE civilians, so. The parked cars are nice though, I like that touch. He did a good job with the parked cars and the ones driving around. I mean, the issue with the civilians that drive around are that the way that they're spawned in makes their AI really shitty. So their pathfinding is really bad, and their decision making as a driver is also really bad. So, and the civilians themselves are retarded because they like to stand in the road in front of cars that are trying to pass. Oh shit, did they actually, maybe they do group out. I think this truck driver might have either killed someone and they're all grouping up to see it, or they're just, or maybe the civilian script actually has them form groups and stuff. I don't know. Oh shit, that actually pulled my helicopter. Huh. Yeah, I've never used EOS or COS before, but so far I think it's the best choice regardless, even if the performance is not as good as ALiVE, because as far as, what the fuck, that guy, I don't even know what the hell that is. Banga Bob did a really good job at making this enemy and civilian spawning script, because I don't know, it's just very, very well optimized, uses very useful, very fast functions. He coded it very well, so It's about the next best thing to ALiVE, really, as far as if you wanted to make an insurgency. Alright, so anyway, like I said, Intel will still be in buildings, and but the thing is that their positions are no longer marked as red squares. Red squares only mean enemies, so. Frames are stuttering because I'm recording, and it's spawning a shit ton of stuff because I'm flying around really fast. Not really fast, but performance would be way better. Oh shit. Oh god damn it. No! Time to pretend I can auto hover. Right into the fucking Fruzabat. Come on. No, I'm dead. Yep. Fucking tree. God damn it, speed of sound. Well, let me respawn. Man, the screams from speed of sound are ridiculous. Anyway, let me just, I feel like I'm staying quiet a little too much. Let me actually continue talking since I'm not really showing anything interesting. What's called? Let's see, check the map one more time. That way I could see what I added, because I forgot. Alright. So yeah, I need feedback on what I need to add to this, basically. I know people want 700,000 different versions that have just one little thing that they wanted so bad, like, add the DAR Humvees, add all the Armor 2 helicopters, add the Chinook, add the F-18s, Perils A-10. First of all, Perils A-10 is never going to get into a public version that I release because it's too heavily scripted. No offense to the A-10, I fucking love the A-10C that Peril made, but for a mission that has enough scripts as it is, I don't think it would perform entirely that good. It would cause desync and shit, probably. So, I don't think I'm gonna do that. Maybe I'll test it a bit, but it's not on my to-do list at all until this is fully finished. As far, you know what, I'll answer this question, is that what versions am I going to work on? Well, this right now is the vanilla version, you know. Blue 4 versus Op 4 with Altus fucking civilians, because this is the most bare bones version that I can really make that will be best for pub servers. It's JIP compatible, it runs good, it initializes fast. What else? No, you know, it doesn't really require many mods, just A3MP, and that is it. Not A3MP AP, just A3MP. It's literally one mod you require to play this mission. But the other versions I want to make, that I will be making regardless what people tell me to do, is I'll be making a version that does use the DAR Humvees, that does use Arma 2 helicopters, and that does use Aggressors. As far as using any other insurgent model add-ons, like for example, there's a group that wants me to add, I forgot what it was called, but it has like the Arma 2 technicals and shit, and they use like mass-use Russian weapons and stuff. I can add that. That would not even be that big of a deal. I don't use that, but just because I like making the community happy, I will do that. I will make that goddamn version, because like 8 different people have asked me, maybe more than that, have asked me to do that, so. Plus the PMs, I'm just saying 8 people on the forums did that. What else? As far as that awesome Chinook that came out, I don't want to add that. I love it, but it doesn't fit in this mission. Like I said, it's too heavily scripted and fucking. I'm just gonna add basic stuff. If you want really complex stuff like Lifter, and you want it's not that I don't like those things. I just don't think that it's worth my time of putting them in. I will always release this with an open source version so that you yourself can edit the mission, and it's really not that hard. I mean, if you want Lifter, you place a fucking module. Actually, you don't even need to place shit. You don't even need to place the goddamn module. So if you want Lifter in this mission, you run it on your server, and that's about it. You can add the module just in case, but I mean, you know what I mean? You don't even need it. But for the helicopter, that big black Chinook that came out, that is really cool. I'm not adding it because I forgot. I don't know. I don't want to add it because it's too much. Anyway, I'm just adding bare bones stuff. The dollar Humvees is about, and you know, the dollar Humvees are pretty broken, but they're fucking awesome. So I mean, I can't say no to them. You know what I mean? I mean, as far as being broken, I mean, like the LODs are not finished, and supposedly there's body heat issues. But aside from that, they're fucking awesome. So I'm probably gonna add a modded version that uses those. And Aggressors will also be used because I like that the most, even though their guns are really silent. And the Arma 2 helicopters. That is the other version you could expect. So the Aggressors will replace the Op 4. The Dar Humvees will replace these Mat Vs. And what's the other one? Oh, and the Arma 2 helicopters will replace the shitty default Arma helicopters, except for the MH9 and the fake Warthog, basically. So yeah, if you don't like those things that I said I'm going to be adding, then you could add it yourself. It's really not that hard. I could even help you with it maybe, but anyway, I'm kind of rambling and just going off the top of my head right here. So if you want me to add anything, so whether that's if you have any suggestions too of good scripts to use, such as for garbage collection specifically, I've been kind of like garbage collection and anti-hack stuff, I'm kind of not sure what to use because there's quite a few of them. Almost all of them are all outdated. Actually, they all are outdated. They either say they're from the beta or from the alpha. So if you guys got a good garbage cleaning script, I'd be appreciative of that. And as far as anti-hack, that's not really required, but I've been having so many goddamn issues on my current server with that I am willing to add an anti-hack script if it actually works and doesn't cause performance issues. Also, I need help adding a script to kick players when they're running TPW. So basically, if a player tries to join the server, the script will check if he's running TPW, and if he is, then it kicks him off before it can actually, you know, start spawning all the animals and shit all over the map. So yeah. As far as add-ons, if you want me to add add-ons to this, the answer is no. I mean, you could give me an idea anyway, but I'm like 90% chance I'm not gonna add it. I told you what I'm gonna add, and that's that. It's not that I'm trying to be an asshole or anything. It's just that I'm trying to make this as open source for everybody. So yeah, and it's very easy to edit yourself, so there's no reason why I should have to go through the trouble of doing it. So yeah, anyway, trying to think of anything else off the top of my head. Nope. Alright, so anyway, thanks guys. Hopefully this video wasn't too boring and pointless to watch and not a waste of your time, but it pretty much shows you exactly this is it. All these red grid squares are areas that have bad guys that you need to kill. I might even add more red grid squares. If you come within 400 or 350 meters of these red grid squares, civilians and enemies spawn. Simple as that. It's not really much else to say. If you want to find intel, they could be anywhere on the map. Basically, if you played the ALiVE version, you know the areas that it chooses to spawn intel. I basically just made the intel markers invisible for this version because I think that's way better. Plus, it would be very confusing to see red grid squares where there's, you know, there's enemies or there's intel. So anyway, closing up right now, making sure there's nothing else. Alright. I will be doing closed testing of the, or not closed, but exclusive public testing, I'll say, on my group's public server. which you could find if you filter ST6. It'll be, I believe that's the only server you'll see up. It's either running Insurgency on Altus, which I made, or Insurgency on Takistan, which obviously I made. But I'm going to try to do closed or public testing of this on that server before I release it. So if you guys want in on that to help test it, cool. And hopefully there's no griefers. Well, there's always going to be griefers, but I'd appreciate any help I can get with scripting or with testing, especially with this new script version or the ALiVE version, because tons of help have come, like especially to Penguin and a Tuxedo. Fucking Napalm and Andro Killer helped me a ton also, because they fixed stuff. They fixed the intel spawning and colored grids. Anyway, I'm just going on. So anyway, thanks guys for watching, and if you want more videos like this, like the video, or just tell me in the comments or on the forum, and I will make more videos that ramble about the mission, or show stuff, you know, actively keep you guys up to date with this shit. But if you don't like it, then dislike it. I won't take it as offense, or just let me know that, okay, I don't have to do this anymore because people don't like it. So anyway, take it easy guys.